Hi, this is Jeff Kober, and we welcome you to Disney Insights. The Park and Experiences D23 presentation at the Honda Center has concluded, and with it came two big pieces of news in what was literally the last 2 minutes of an entire 2.5-hour program. Disneyland fans rejoiced with the fantastic news that Tomorrowland is finally going to get some serious TLC as it gets set to be remodeled in time for Disneyland's 75th anniversary. Meanwhile, Walt Disney World fans have finally received huge news that their beloved Journey into Imagination with Figment and Dreamfinder will be completely revamped to something more like the original attraction. And then there's the rest of the entire program, plus details from the Imagineering Pavilion and some really great presentations made from Imagineers during the event. It was a detail-filled experience that gives you a picture of what was really promised 2 years ago and is now under construction. Oh, and by the way, did we mention Villains Land? Yes, confirmation was given to the two e-ticket attractions, which will headline this corner of the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. So, hey, join us as we highlight the crazy details from this year's D23 Expo. And before we get too far, if you haven't subscribed, please do so and hit the notifications button so that you can be alerted of other videos and podcasts as they come out. Thanks for being a part. Now, my intent is not to make this too long. The first is this new Tomorrowland for Disneyland.
Shows. And as we approach Disneyland's 75th anniversary, with an eye towards the horizon and the park's centennial, I think it's time to renew that promise once again in a way that deeply honors the original and imagines the future with optimism. And that starts with Tomorrowland. Soon, we will begin reimagining Tomorrowland with optimism you all have been longing for. Returning to a vista into a world of wondrous ideas, just as Walt described it. New attractions, more open spaces, new places for you to dream about the future.
Now, the only image that was given in this, again, presentation at the very end was one of Space Mountain and of a monorail passing by in the background. Now, I get why the Space Mountain might be in the image because it's kind of a symbol of Tomorrowland, like the castle is of Fantasyland. But Space Mountain is not what really needs much attention. The monorail, on the other hand, passing by, that monorail does need some TLC. The theme, though, that was on this poster said, quote, "Yesterday's tomorrow, today," end of quote. So we have yesterday, we have tomorrow, and we have today. That suggests that they will try to return the area to a look and feel that was comparable to 1967's new Tomorrowland. I think that has to include the People Mover. It is the thread. It is the ribbon that ties it all together. It also puts into question, well, what about that carousel building? But you have to also remember that there was another big attraction that premiered in 1967 that people have long forgotten or never knew about. It was called Adventure Through Inner Space. Now, one assumes that the submarines and the Autopia cars being made electric very shortly, will be a part of this Tomorrowland. And even though Space Mountain didn't come until 1977, the visual verifies its involvement, of course. Well, what about Buzz Lightyear? It's there. Star Tours, it's also there. Yes, probably they'll still stay, but we'll have to see. Because the 75th anniversary is mentioned, The time frame seems to matter here, and yet that's only 4 years away, and again, we have no real detail or visual of what this might be. A lot more to come. Meanwhile, out on the East Coast, Journey into Imagination returns.
So that's our show for tonight. Thank you for joining us on our Disney Experiences Carousel of Progress as we begin travel into our great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
Halt, unbeliever. You made me a promise. You swore if I were to host this show, you would restore my favorite animatronic character of all time to his glory. Behold!
Yes, we are taking a new journey into imagination at Expo with Figment and Dreamfinder. I'm so happy to tell you this. We know how important this is to you. We heard you, and this is one more way. We are putting you, all of you in the center of everything we do. Okay, that's really it now. Come on, team.
Now, what is stated in this presentation, and again, it was the end of the end presentation, as you can see, quote, we are taking a new journey into imagination at Epcot with Dreamfinder and Figment. Let's take that apart. Note, first of all, that it won't be a Figment attraction. It will be a Dreamfinder and Figment attraction. Going back to the end of the first one when it was being revised after the first 10 years, Eisner didn't like Dreamfinder. He thought the character was a little creepy or whatever. Clearly, especially with Neil Patrick Harris dressing up as Figment, as Dreamfinder, that is clearly going to be a part of the show, and they've stated that it is. And by the way, Neil Patrick Harris might make a good voice for Dreamfinder. But all that said and done, it also stated new as part of Journey into Imagination, which is in the original title. So I don't think we're going to have it go completely back to what it was. If you knew the original attraction, it had some great components, but it also had some ride challenges. But and by the way, there's no time frame for this. I'm guessing that we probably won't hear more details about this until a year from this fall, when the expo at Walt Disney World occurs. So hold your breath until then.
Shrouded in miasm. So I have summoned a new presence. Come forth and speak, Thomas Masnum.
I'm here, Mira. I'm here. But please, do not worry. We could never forget about you.
I assure you, I am not worried, for I know you will be sharing more. But villainous souls are not the patient kind, so do hurry and speak of the wicked magic that's in store.
And then the biggest details coming out of this entire presentation, especially because there wasn't much on the show floor about Villains Land, but we learned here the Villains Land is going to be called just that, Villains Land, and that it's two attractions, a roller coaster themed around Maleficent and a boat ride that is themed to the magic mirror, kind of depicting the story. We'll listen to what they had to say about all this.
We're creating an entirely new story for these characters and a new way of seeing them. These aren't villains hiding in the shadows. They're powerful, sophisticated, elegant, and they have impeccable taste, which I find is very dangerous. Here are some initial character studies that help define a new vision for our villains and establish an elevated, elegant tone for the land.
These characters and so many more are the foundation for an entirely new story in Villains Land, which we are literally creating from the ground up. Like so many of our fairy tales, your journey begins when you stray from the safe path and enter the bewitching and foreboding dark forest. There, you'll come upon a broken, twisted wishing well.
Now, normally a wishing well is a pretty happy thing. You make a wish, toss in a coin, maybe a princess starts singing. This is not that wishing well.
Yes, we wondered, what if a mysterious person made an evil wish? And what if that wish was so evil that it corrupted the well, broke it open, and infused the forest around it with the power of the well's poison magic?
Dark magic up for grabs? I can definitely see villains wanting to be drawn to that.
Exactly. And one by one, they have come here to claim it. Several of your favorite villains, including Cruella, the Evil Queen, and Dr. Facilier, who you saw earlier, have used this land's cursed magic to conjure the perfect new layers for themselves. Everything they could wish for. The architecture reflects the style, humor, and fiendish personality of the villain that owns it. And whether it's by promising treats, treasures, or wishes come true, you can bet the villains will use everything in their power to tempt you.
Well, I'm sure they will. And frankly, I'm looking forward to seeing them try. Villains Land is one of the most ambitious lands we've ever created. It's huge, on the scale of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and completely immersive. Everywhere you look, the villains have taken over. The architecture, the food, the shops, even the landscape itself. And that's before we get to the attractions. You may have heard there are two major ones. And would you like to hear what they are?
Well, our first attraction is going to be a thrilling coaster experience. Here, you will encounter Maleficent herself as you race through the Enchanted Briar around her mountaintop fortress. We're excited to include elements we've never attempted before on a Disney coaster, because of course, if we're inviting the Mistress of All Evil to our land, we best not disappoint her.
No. And if Maleficent's mountaintop isn't dark enough for you, our second attraction takes you in the opposite direction, down, into the catacombs beneath the Evil Queen's palace. Here, you'll come face to face with the magic mirror as he calls you to see things from his unique perspective on the other side of the glass. Once you're in this mirror realm through a mix of special effects and incredible physical set pieces, you'll be mesmerized by a whole array of your favorite fearsome Disney villains, conjured as only the magic mirror can.
Now, what's really cool about their announcements, first of all, we put away all the dumb rumors that had been going around about Cusco having a roller coaster and all of that. I thought always the second attraction would be a boat ride. I thought maybe it might be more themed to Hades. They still haven't talked about is there a dinner show? Is there any restaurant that is a sit-down style? Or what does food and beverage look like? Not any discussion about retail. So there's still more to come, but we definitely get a sense of the vibe of this land. And while I'll be covering a lot more details in the weeks to come, I think we have a very exciting looking attraction that is going to be signature to what the Magic Kingdom should have. in terms of this kind of layout. By the way, I haven't talked about Piston Peak here. That I've saved for another video. If you haven't seen it, there's a whole video I go into detail about the beautiful model that was depicted in that showroom floor. And you will definitely want to check out that video. Again, subscribe, hit the notification button, but know that you want to go check out that video because it will give you some wonderful details about how that played out, and of the secondary ride, which I predicted 2 years ago would be the Cars version of Disneyland Paris, their Cars little ride that they have. It's all there, so do check that out as well as the video. And again, thanks for joining me. There's so much more to cover, such a big, long weekend, but I did want to make sure that we gave you some kind of, cap of what has gone on here at D23. Talk to you soon. Hang in there. Have a great day.